Hey everyone, I'm Matt. Welcome to my shop. This is my 2018 Suzuki V-Strom 650. It's dusty, it's dirty, it's a little bit beat up, it's dripping water. The rear tire is nearly bald. All my camping gear is right there and it's soaking wet and it's dripping on the floor. And that's because I just got back from a roughly 3,500 mile long overland expedition. I touched Oregon, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, Wyoming, and Idaho over a 2-week period. I brought back nearly 400 gigabytes worth of raw video footage. That's a lot. The centerpiece of this trip was the Utah BDR. That's a backcountry discovery route. I'll post a link in the video description. There's a website, Ride BDR. They have these really cool off-pavement routes through a lot of the western states and some eastern ones as well. So that was a centerpiece of the trip. So because I have so much footage, I'm going to divide this into 3 videos. The first one is going to be the ride to the start of the BDR. Actually took 3 days to do that and saw some pretty cool stuff. The second video will be the BDR itself. I took 7 days to do that. Like I said, I rode that with my son. And then the third video will be the ride back home. It's going to be the shortest one. I only took 2 days and I just stopped at a couple places along the way back. So with that being said, let's kick off video 1. This one's going to be my ride to the Arizona-Utah border in Monument Valley. This is a Google Earth shot of the entire route, including the ride to the start of the BDR itself, and then the route that I took home. But for this video, we're just going to be focusing on the route to the Utah-Arizona border. Now, starting on day 1, I began at my house at the very northwest corner of Oregon and ended on the border of Oregon and Nevada. Massive difference. I started this morning at 40 degrees and fog on the Oregon coast. Drove through Portland and the valley and then over the Cascades right next to Mount Hood. Now we're on the east side of the Cascades and it's lava rock and pine trees and juniper trees and just completely different landscape. Still the same state of Oregon though. Got some cows in the road. They'd better move. I'm skirting the edge of a pretty solid thunder cell. I've gone through just a couple chilly droplets of rain. The sky's pretty dark up ahead and kind of off to the east a little bit. Fortunately, I think I skirt to the right a little. Hopefully I'll avoid driving through a massive rainstorm here. See off in the distance over there, there's like little dust storms being blown up. I was driving alongside those mountains, I was getting blown around big time. I was having to crouch in hard to the motorcycle. But I actually think those thunder cells I've left behind me. I still may have to worry about something blowing through, but a little bit lucky because I planned on stopping in Fields to grab dinner, and Field Station was closed. So I think I'm gonna stop at the Denio restaurant. It's up here in just a couple of miles. They've got a gas station there and a restaurant, so I'll probably stop there for dinner. They've got a covered area too, so if I'm wrong about the thunderstorms, I got a dry place to be. Those Mormon crickets are crazy looking. Fortunately, there's just a few of them here. A couple years ago, we drove through here and there was just millions everywhere, all over the road. It was a disgusting mess. Well, I made it to the Denio Junction. Unfortunately, the kitchen was closed at the restaurant, so I guess it's Mountain House lasagna or something tonight. And the bartender in there told me to keep my eyes open for someone named Amos. She said he's pretty far out. He talks to spirits and ghosts and stuff, and he's camped out at the hot springs where I'm going, so I'll try and camp out on the other end. Gonna hang out here for a few minutes until the threat of the thunderstorms pass. That was windy driving in here. I mean, I was leaning the bike over pretty hard into the wind, but made it here all in one piece, so. Well, I tried to hang out at Denio Junction until I thought the threat of rain had passed. As soon as I turn off the pavement, I'm getting rained on. Is what it is. I can see a little bit falling off there in the distance. Shouldn't be too bad. There was cell service there, so I checked the weather and it said the threat of thunderstorms would be over by 9 p.m. So let's hope I don't get drenched between now and 9 p.m. So where are we going? I have been to this hot springs before a couple of times. Probably my favorite one, like anywhere. It is unimproved, it's unmarked, there are no signs either on the road back behind us or up here at the actual springs. In fact, I'm going to turn my phone off. People can probably figure out where these are at, but I don't want the name or the coordinates to show up in the video, so I'm just going to keep those out of here. Oh, this is a hot spring and about I don't know how long it is, probably half mile or more, hot river or hot creek that flows into a reservoir right up here on our left. And you can camp along anywhere along the hot creek. It's got lots of little switchbacks and turns and stuff. Pretty much anywhere along there you can find yourself a nice hot pool, set up a tent up on the bank above it. If you get cold in the middle of the night, you can just roll out of the tent right into the hot creek. Don't anticipate that being a problem tonight. It's still, even as dark and there's chilly raindrops coming down, it's still over 80 degrees outside. Looking forward to soaking my back and my neck and my butt and my feet after 500, where am I at? 520 miles of riding today. This is our camp for the night. I don't see any other vehicles out here. One of the things I like about this place is that it's quite a ways off the beaten path and not a lot of people seem to know about it. So that's geothermal water down in there and it is nice and warm. I'm gonna try and find a place off the main road up here just a little ways. A little bit of rain coming down, but it's not too bad. This is it. This is the hot creek. There's quite a few bends and stuff. I mean, it goes for, I'm guessing, a mile. I'm up near where the source is. It's still another couple hundred yards up that way, but people have built all these dams here to create some soaking pools here, and these are big. I don't know if it shows on the camera, but those are big pools. So I think I might be setting up my tent in the dark with a few raindrops coming down, but it's supposed to be dry tomorrow, so anything that gets wet tonight should dry right out. I think I'll try and do that before it gets too dark, and I'll climb in the water once the darkness sets in. Now for day 2, I had another 500-mile ride planned, and the goal was to camp at a place called Lund Hot Springs. However, when I did a little bit of research, I turned up that maybe the hot springs weren't really that hot, so I decided to not do that out and back ride at the end of the day and camp in a national park that I saw on the map. Alright, well, we've turned off the freeway. Now headed south on 278 toward Eureka. Eureka is going to be my next stop. Definitely put a lot of miles behind me going 80, 85 on the freeway, but it's just not any fun to ride. I'm finally glad to turn off of that freeway and onto a secondary road here. Well, we've made it to Eureka. Pretty cool old like mining town. A lot of historic looking buildings here. Try and find some place to sit down and get a bite to eat, I think. Well, that was a nice break. Spent about half an hour here, walked around town just a little bit, looked at all the old historic buildings. Some of these are just old like building facades. There's a walking tour here. I didn't really do the whole thing, but I did at least some of it. So I'm headed east now to the town of Ely. Should be about an hour and 20 minutes of riding. I'm a little bit concerned because there have been thunderstorms that have rolled through. I haven't gotten rained on yet, but I can see up ahead. The sky looks a little bit dark. I can see some rainfall up there, and I did look at weather radar, and it looks like there's some pretty good storm cells between here and Ely. I'm crossing my fingers that they will have petered themselves out by the time I get there, so. At any rate, we're off on Highway 50 on the loneliest road in America. like riding through these old Nevada mining towns like this. It's just awesome to see the brick facades in the front of the buildings. See what's still in business, what's been repurposed. Get this giant building that's got a Denny's sign on it. Kind of cool. Radio Shack. Well, my camping plan didn't exactly pan out. I did have a nice dinner at a taco truck in the town of Baker. So I was planning on camping in one of the national park campgrounds in the Great Basin National Park. And when I got there at the entrance of the national park, all but one of the campgrounds were listed as closed. The one that was open was reservation only through recreation.gov. I did have cell service, so I logged on there and it said, even though there was availability, that I couldn't reserve that day. The visitor center was closed, and so I was like, okay, fine, that's too much of a hassle. I looked within probably 50 miles for any BLM land for dispersed camping or other official campgrounds. There was one in the town of Baker. Anyway, I went a few miles down the road, and I am now at a hotel, the Border Hotel. It's right on the border of Utah and Nevada, so not my first choice. At least I can keep an eye on my bike out there. The light's on because I'm charging a GoPro. The room is sparse. Doesn't even have a TV. The microwave looks like something out of the 1950s. I mean, I think it's retro, meant to look like that, but it says Galans. I don't know. Probably get RF burns if I tried to use that. So anyway, I guess I'm sleeping here tonight. And tomorrow, though, I'm going to be at the start of the Utah BDR at the Golding Campground. So that's it. I'm signing off for the night. Talk to you guys tomorrow. I was really looking forward to day 3. It was going to be a little bit of a shorter day, about 400 miles, and the route was through the Cathedral Valley in Utah. I was really looking forward to the ride, and it definitely didn't disappoint. In fact, I'd say the only problem with the ride were the 110-degree temperatures. It was a hot day. Well, back on the road in Utah, actually. I didn't sleep particularly well last night, but that's okay. It was nice to have a comfortable bed and a hot shower this morning. So, well, today's the day I should hit the start of the Utah BDR. So, got about 400 miles to ride today. So the shortest of the 3 road days, and hoping the most scenic.
the volcano and back, and the night sky will go black. Points out wish to the rich. Fire sets fire too. The standing still. The old crow flew into the side of the world. Just don't look back. One day it's gonna go up in flames, the volcano and back, and the night sky will go black.
Man, the views here are just incredible. It is hot though. The bike says 104, but I can just feel the heat just radiating off the rocks. Pretty spectacular. Now that is one spectacular view. I'm sure the scale of this isn't going to come through on the camera, but that paved road, that's where I'm headed to. I got like, I don't know, 5 miles of switchbacks and stuff. You can got like 5 miles of switchbacks. You can see some of them right there, but it's going to just keep zigzagging down the side of this mountain down to the pavement down there. I am loving this ride. Even if the whole rest of the trip sucks, today was worth it. Well guys, that's the end of part 1 of this trip. The road trip from my place on the Northwest Oregon coast to the start of the Utah BDR. I made it in here to Golding's Resort last night, and not a big fan of camping around so many people. It's just always noisy. There's always something going on, dogs barking and things like that. But I will say it was nice to have hot showers and laundry. So I did a load of laundry and was able to take a nice hot shower last night and this morning. So I feel refreshed and ready to go. My son's gonna be meeting me here at about noon today. He's riding down from the Provo area. So that's it, we'll be kicking off the Utah BDR today. Well, I think I'm gonna do this in a 3-part video. Now, part 1 is gonna be the road trip from my place to the start of the Utah BDR. Part 2 is gonna be the BDR itself. And part 3 is going to be the road trip back home. So with that, I'm calling an end to this video. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.